I can come around and get them, with the 2023 Middle School Model United Nations Conference Barkalow Debate Team recognition. We'll invite Mr. Smith up, principal of Barkalow Middle School, and Mr. Tanzi, the Barkalow Debate Team coach. Just hold it down here.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm live. All right. So just to give you some quick background, Barkalow Debate sent 10 students to the CBA Middle School Model UN. It's the premier Model UN event in the region. Those are 10 students who did just about 2 months of research and extra practice, learning parliamentary procedure, researching their places in each committee. And 3 of those students out of the 170 students from different schools that competed were recognized. Those students are Siobhan Downey, who's not, I don't think Siobhan can make it tonight. But Siobhan earned honorable mention for her place as a member of the U.S. Congress, so she has to act like a congressperson. And Siobhan was representing a committee dealing with the Taiwan Relations Act, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with, so I won't go into it. But Taiwanese and China foreign relations, it's always tricky. And to Siobhan's credit, she has a great deal of knowledge in terms of history for someone her age, and she asks amazing questions. And on top of that, she is a tenacious and fearless debater. So Siobhan couldn't be here tonight, but she earned honorable mention. Also, Mahi Shah. Mahi's here tonight for cross country as well. Student athlete. Some of our committees are historic committees. So Mahi had the honor of representing Imperial Japan in the year 1943 in the middle of World War II, discussing the possibility of nuclear proliferation. And I said to Mahi, "You're Imperial Japan. Everybody else on the committee is going to gang up on you." And Mahi said, "Bring it on." And Mahi did a wonderful job, and she was recognized for outstanding position paper. Model UN involves a lot of research before you go, and Mahi's research was spot on, and we're very proud of Mahi. Mahi and Siobhan are both 8th graders. Last but not least, we have a 7th grader, Miles Imregi. Miles. Miles, again, was on a congressional committee, and this committee had to do with humanitarian and military funding for Ukraine, which, of course, is a current event. That is something that is fluid and changing moment to moment. And at CBA, some of the committees are relatively small. One committee is always really big. The congressional committee had 33 students on it. And Miles rose to the top and was recognized with a gavel for best delegate on that entire committee. And he's only in 7th grade.
There's only 3, so
okay.
You can come on up.
That is true too. Yes. Yeah, the competition is tough too. Like Barkalow is the only public school that typically goes, and competition was some high quality schools like Oak Hill Academy, Rumson Country Days. So we're very proud of all the work that our students put in. Well done.
Come on, come on. Oh, nice to have you. All right, let me have your eyes. Look over here for just a sec. Michelle, I can't see your face. Sorry. That's okay. All right, let moms and dads know.
I see it. Shoulder shoes? There you go. Next, the larger group. We have team awards and individual awards for both the Barkalow boys and girls cross country teams. And Mr. Smith will remain up here. We'll invite our head coach, Jan West, and we have our assistant coaches, Kevin Samonti and Colin Monahan.
Is this thing on? Okay. Legacy. We talked a lot about that this season, being a part of a tradition of excellence. And putting on a Barkalow uniform does not mean that it just represents you anymore, but it represents every amazing runner before you and all of the runners you wish to inspire in the future. We had an amazing season, and I know I asked the students, what kind of chapter do you want to write for this amazing story? And they answered. I have to admit, going into this season, I was a little discouraged. We had such an amazing season the year before, and a lot of our best runners had gone on to the high school. I had found out our best returning girl had a broken toe. One of our assistant coaches was also on medical leave. I found out we couldn't practice at our park, Michael J. Tighe Park, where we had our home course. And I knew that our toughest competitor was our first meet at home, and we only had one chance to practice at the park. So I was a little worried. But this team, they exceeded all my expectations. The returning runners came back better than we could have even hoped for. We had some new amazing runners, some 8th graders who finally decided to come out for the team, and even some 6th graders who surprised us and became some of the top runners that we had this year. We won that first meet, and the boys and girls never looked back. They won every meet. We were undefeated. I couldn't bring all the trophies. They won it all. So we were so impressed. We had then to go to the championship race, which is a big deal. You have the top 7 runners from 28 teams across the county. Could I call those runners up? All right, so all the championship runners come up. I want to embarrass you some more. Come on up. So it's not easy to, on such a good team, to make it to the top 7. So they had tough competition, and they were psyched to represent their team. They did something that I don't think any other school has ever done. I don't have all the records, but I have a lot. And they were the only school, I think, who both had the boys and girls team win the championship race. So in the same year. That's pretty amazing. The girls won for the 2nd year in a row. The boys missed by 1 debatable point last year, so we definitely won this year. Everyone up here took home an individual medal. We had 4 in the top 10 for our boys. Michael Silverman came in 7th place, and we miss him here tonight. We also had our other co-captain, Jake Wyszynski, who led the team. He won almost every meet this season, and he was able to come in 3rd place overall. Yay! Awesome accomplishment. Milana Cerna, who joined us this year, and she was a captain. She led the team as well and won almost every meet. She was able to come in 7th place overall. And remember that one with the broken toe. She was able to come back the last 2 weeks of our season, and anyone who's ever been injured before knows how tough it is to come back from an injury. you know, you have to make sure you don't injure yourself again. You have to also, you know, give your body a chance to gain your fitness back. Well, she was so determined. She worked so hard, and she has such a heart of a champion. Ariella Williams won the race, and I mean, by 30 seconds. I mean, she was. So we have the Monmouth County champion here. She's only in 7th grade, so I'm going to wrap her in bubble wrap till the next season. But I am so proud of all of our runners, I want to thank my amazing assistant coaches, Mr. Samani, who couldn't be here tonight. He is invaluable with his love and knowledge of the sport and how he inspires each runner. We were so happy to have Mr. Monahan join us this year. His competitive spirit, the way he motivates the kids to just give it their all, burn the boat, don't leave anything behind. That's our motto. I thank all the parents, the families who came out to support us. We have such a great cheering section, Mr. Smith included. We are so thankful for all of you and all the dedication you have for our season. Thank you especially to the parents who set up the championship breakfast and pasta party. That was so fun for the kids to get them motivated. I thank these athletes. They are amazing. But besides the trophies, I think the best part of the season was watching them really embrace the power of the pack, to support each other, to work together. Running can be a very isolating sport, and they just work together, and it was beautiful to watch. So I will remember that most of all. So I hope that each and every one of you, especially our 8th graders that we're going to really miss, I hope you hold in your heart that feeling of being a champion, of being part of a pack, and know that you have written a chapter we will never forget. You guys are awesome. Bring everybody up, and then we'll go that way. Is that...
Or you want to hold on?
Meet next door in just
All
2
right.
minutes. Sit back down. Do you want to recognize your individual separately or no?
Oh, well, I organized, so.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
I just processed what you asked me before about the folders. So in a moment, we will move over to the gym. We would like a group picture that we can put on our website and use in the school. But also, I just want to echo Ms. West's thanks to our athletes. It takes a lot of dedication. School's hard. It's early in the morning, right? There's a lot of work, a lot of studying that goes along with being a middle school student, and to put the time and the effort and the motivation to participate in any activity, especially one that has a lot of physical endurance in it, is really commendable. So I'd really just my pride and thanks for our students for being so dedicated. And also to our parents, it takes your support as well in order for our students to participate and support of our programs, and still, while they're participating and being so successful as a team, also maintaining their academic commitment and being successful in the classroom. So thank you very much. It's a team effort, and we appreciate all that you do as parents, and we just love our students and appreciate all the effort that they put into being a good student and also being a good athlete. So congratulations to everybody. Another round of applause. And we'll meet across the hall in the gym to take our group picture.
Not a jerk, but take a break.
approval of minutes. I'd like a motion to approve the executive session meeting minutes from November 14th, 2023. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, we did enrollment. You want to do your board administrator certification?
Sure. I, Robert DeVita, the school, turn this on. I, Robert DeVita, the school business administrator / board secretary, certifies as of November 30th, 2023, no line item has been overexpended in violation of NJAC 6A 23A-16.10 C3, and that sufficient funds are available to meet the district's financial obligations for the remainder of the fiscal year.
Okay, we did. You want to do bullying investigation?
Doing the whole thing.
Yeah. You could,
Okay. Okay.
I know we're out of order. Sorry.
Welcome. It's always nice to recognize our students. So it was worth the time to spend with our students and their families celebrating their accomplishments for Model UN and cross country, boys and girls. A couple of things on tonight's agenda that I want to just clarify. There are some new board members, some of the public who can see the attachments to our agenda. So CUSAC and DPRs. So CUSAC is a monitoring system, the state monitoring system. The body of the state that does that monitoring is our county office of education, our county superintendent, county business administrator, county ed specialist, and county supervisor of special services, I believe is the official title, will be out to sit with us in January to do an on-site review of documents. They've done some off-site electronic remote review for those things that they can, but they will be here. And then the last one will be a facility walkthrough that Mr. DeVito will do with our county business administrator. So on tonight's agenda is the approval of the DPRs. There are two columns. There is the district column and the county column. The county column is 0 and 0% because it hasn't been completed. The first step, it's attached electronically. No, you have to print them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also on our website for anybody to see in addition. So the county score will always be 0 because they haven't done their visit, so they haven't populated those scores. We do a review. Each of us is responsible. Mrs. Montgomery for instruction and program, Dr. Brethauer for personnel, Mr. DeVita for fiscal, and I'm responsible for governance and operations. And we do an assessment, and we give ourselves the points for those areas in which we believe that we deserve the points, that we can show evidence that we meet that standard. One thing I just want to point out is for in an instruction and program, we did populate because we thought it was deceiving to put all zeros in there when we're populating everything else. The State Department of Education will provide us our scores for anything connected to student achievement and student growth. They give that to us. However, since I had to post it on the website without any explanation, and we had points populated for everything else, I did enter the points, but I thought it was important for everybody to understand that those points will be given to us directly from the state, and they're non-negotiable. What they tell us is based on the data that they have. So in our initial review, we should do well. But I wanted to give some explanation about that. On tonight's agenda is also approval of elementary task teams. I'm happy to share that's separate from the high impact tutoring grant. That was a competitive grant that we received. We do have, if you remember, the ARP grant. It's a three-year grant. So we met and went over the funds that are remaining, and we are happy to report that in our elementary and our middle schools, beginning sometime in January through June, we will be able to once again offer targeted support to students from teachers in our schools, separate from the high impact tutoring grant. We're happy that we'll be able to continue that into this year. I did want to recognize, although we'll do it more formally, board recognition at a meeting. Today, several of us attended a remote meeting of the State Municipal Alliance. It has a more formal name, but it's new to me. Where they recognize Courtney Colford. Courtney is one of the two school counselors at Barklow, and she's also our district school student assistance coordinator. She was recognized as the Monmouth County Municipal Alliance Volunteer of the Year. If you know Courtney, she spends an exorbitant amount of time volunteering in the community and throughout the county for different causes. And we will recognize her more formally at a board meeting next month, but that happened today. And I do also, on behalf of Central Office Administration, our staff, and our administrative team, I do want to thank Meg Thoman. This is Meg's last board meeting, and I do want to thank her for serving this term, her support of the district, always putting the students' needs first, asking good questions. It seems when we sit here sometimes that everything is decided, and I assure you, along with my central office colleagues, that this board does its due diligence, rightfully so, and asks a tremendous amount of questions before we walk into this room to make sure that they are fully informed and then making the decision that is best for each board member to make on behalf of our students. So I wanted to express my gratitude on behalf of my colleagues for your service and your support over the last 3 years. And finally, I would just like to wish everybody in our community happy holidays. Our winter break is coming up in 2 weeks. It's a long stretch, typically, of those 2 weeks. But I do want to wish our staff, our students, our board, and our community happy holidays. Bullying report.
Can I ask a quick question, Neil,
Mhm.
on your report? The money that's with the ARP funds, how is that population, is it going to be the same population that's serviced with the high impact tutoring, or are they, or those, is that a different target group?
We haven't gotten that far, but it could be.
Okay, you're not sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
we haven't gotten that far. We know that we can. We know the number of hours. And I believe the high impact tutoring grant is specific to grades 3 and 4 primarily to start with, right?
We are targeting a larger number of 3rd and 4th grade students, but we will be scooping up 5th through 8th grade students in the high impact tutoring as well.
But task, we don't have to. I think you had to focus on 3rd and 4th first.
Correct.
Task, we don't have to do that. That's our own program. But it could. We haven't gotten that far yet. The bullying investigation report. Since our last meeting, there were 10 reports. 7 of them were founded and 3 were unfounded. That's all I have.
As I mentioned earlier, I was saving my president's remarks for later in the meeting. So at this point, we will have our first opportunity for public participation on agenda items only. I was going to say, where's the podium? If anyone wishes to address the board, please step to the podium, write your name and address for the record, state your name and town for the meeting. Statements are limited to 3 minutes in length and shouldn't be abusive, obscene, or defamatory. If anybody would like to address the board, please step forward. Okay. Seeing nobody, we'll move on to the Personnel Committee. Ms. O'Sullivan?
Today we met as a committee. Dr. Brethauer and Mr. Gardulio and myself were present. We reviewed the agenda items. We reviewed a personal day donation, request for unpaid leave of absence, and the new substitute rate, which will be effective January 1st, 2024. And the new rate is $130 per day. All right. Moving to item number 3, administrative leave. As I'd like to move it as stated. Number 4, retirement as listed. Number 5, resignations as listed. Number 6, position control as listed. 7, new employment as listed. 8, rescind offer of employment as listed. 9, leaves of absence as listed. 10, long-term substitute as listed. 11, extended long-term assignment as listed. 12, extend change long-term assignment as listed. 13, change of assignment as listed. 14, change of assignment salary adjustment as listed. 15, temporary change of assignment and salary adjustments for 2023-24. as listed. 16, additional compensation, safety care trainer, as listed. 17, additional compensation, transfer of assignment and room, as listed. 18, additional compensation, CPI, safety care training, as listed. 19, additional compensation, high impact tutoring, as listed. Unpaid days, as listed. Elementary task teams, as listed. 22, district honoraria, as listed. 23, district honoraria, as listed. 24, PTO honoraria, as listed. 25, curriculum committee, as listed. 26, revise substitute rates, as listed. 27, certified substitutes, as listed. 28, non-certified substitutes, as listed. That is all.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, before we move to a roll call, I just want to acknowledge, and I know we acknowledge our retirees at a separate, at a separate time. But I just want to acknowledge this group of retirees because typically we get retirees a few at a time. This particular group has combined over 221 years of service to this district. There's 10 people on here. Lisa Johnston, who's our FTEA president, 41 years. I mean, yeah. You know, I can name every name on here. I know every person on here. Ann Halligan, Lisa Force, Marcy Wagner, Amory Martucci, all of you that are on here, Nessa Perry. This is a loss to the district in one felt swoop. So I will congratulate all you retirees and feel a little selfish when I say, wow, this district, this is a big one. But congratulations to you all and look forward to honoring you when we honor our retirees at the end of the school year. With that, can I have a second? And we need a roll call.
Mrs. Brand? Yes. Mrs. Coslino? Yes. Mr. Gargiulo? Yes. Mrs. O'Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Spellman?
Yes.
Mrs. Vendatoli?
Yes, but I'm going to abstain on number 21, number 17 and 18.
21, 17, and 18. Thank you. Mr. Williams? Yes. Mr. Amoroso?
Reluctant on number 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will vote yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mrs. Lambert?
Yes. Under protest. No.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. So moving on to curriculum and policy, Ms. Cozzolino.
We did meet tonight. Present were Mr. Amoroso, Mr. Williams, myself, Becky Montgomery, and Neil popped in too. We went over any questions we had on the agenda. We also went over the high impact tutoring grant and the 2 teachers you saw coordinators in the last agenda item that we are approving to basically oversee the program. It's a huge grant, $230,000 that we got from the state to implement it. Laterra is on for approval tonight as our RFP award. And I do want to take note of the ability of our business office to work with our curriculum department to get that RFP out. A lot of
Mrs.
districts.
Williams. She
Yes,
wrote it.
and Mrs. Williams.
Thank
The
you.
way a lot of districts are struggling to get this out, but our department did it very efficiently and very promptly, and our kids will see the benefit of this starting in January.
It's a beautiful thing. Thank you.
It is
Thank you, Ally.
350 kids. Thank you, Allie.
Oh, there you are.
And we went over the reports that the curriculum department has prepared using our Atlas program for CUSAC. Those are very that's a very interesting tool and something that will definitely help us see right away where we're complying, which we are. And then we went over a fall map data review, which indicates, our students are growing, and that they're doing well. I mean, that snapshot on map was taken, I don't know, 10 days into the school year. So we really got them at the beginning, and we got them at the beginning for a reason. Like, we wanted to see where we needed them to grow, so that teachers can work with individual kids in the classroom on their weaknesses. And so we look forward to that winter data when they complete it, and we look forward to seeing a lot of growth there. I'm going to move the committee meeting minutes, the course reimbursements for the winter semester as listed, the course reimbursement for the late spring semester, number 4, as listed, 5, the first reading of policies as listed, the second reading of policy and regulations as listed, the second reading to abolish policies as listed, the student teacher practicum observation and placements as listed, the DPR that Neil discussed in his report for New Jersey CUSAC as listed, and that is it.
Thank you, Mrs. Lambert. The Finance, Facilities, and Transportation Committee did meet this evening. In attendance were Mr. DeVita, Mrs. Williams, Mrs. Brand, Mrs. Lambert, Mr. Dickstein for a short while, myself. We discussed the construction update, the ongoing HVAC projects. We discussed the HVAC issue at Erickson. Heat exchanger cracked on a unit that services the first grade wing. Unit is scheduled to be replaced in the summer of 2025. We have made arrangements for alternate heat until the unit can be replaced. The repair is in the $45,000 through $60,000 range. The referendum update, we discussed the proposal on the agenda. We also completed a walkthrough of all 8 buildings with the principals to obtain their input on the schools. The additional state aid, we discussed the use of the additional state aid motion that is on the agenda. The 22-23 audit, there are no audit findings to report, and we went over the agenda items. I was waiting for questions. Okay. I'd like to move item number 3, the Secretary and Treasurer's report. Item number 4, bills and claims. Total bills in the amount of $2,942,548.07. Payroll in the amount of $2,518,056.30 for a grand total of $5,460,604.37. Thank you to whoever, Miss O'Sullivan, for doing the bills. Number 5, travel and related expenses as listed. Number 6, the transfers as listed. Number 7, the donations as listed from the Laura Donovan PTO and from Anonymous. Number 8, consultant as listed. Number 9, the out-of-district transportation contracts for MOESC as listed. Number 10, honoraria update as listed. Number 11, the competitive contract for the high-dosage tutoring services 24-11 as listed. Number 12, the acceptance of the 22-23 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, ACFR, as listed. Number 13, the appropriation of additional 2023-2024 state aid for student mental health assistance, as listed. Number 14, professional services agreement, pre-referendum services, as listed. Number 15, 2024 extended school year program, as listed.
Old business, new business, president's remarks. I just wanted to wish all our staff and students a very happy holiday and a very safe and healthy break. And I wanted to thank my fellow board members for allowing me to be your board president this year. As you know, in January, we reorg, so whoever the new board president will be, good luck to that person. With that, we have a new board member coming on, Carmela Spieler. She's in the audience today. And we have one leaving us, Meg. Wanted to thank you for your 3 years of service. I don't think many people realize the time and effort that goes into being a board member. They see the meetings on Tuesdays, they don't see behind the scenes. You're a full-time mom, full-time professional, and put a lot of time and effort into this board, educating yourself and doing what is in the best interest of the students. So from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for your service. I don't want to be the only one to speak, so if anyone wants to say anything, jump in.
I'd like to
go ahead.
second that. It's been a pleasure, and your professionalism has shown through in everything that you've done on the board, and I want to thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you for 3 years.
Yes. So, with that, even though we're in the middle of our school year, we are at the end of our calendar year. So our board will turn over in January and we will start anew and with new agendas. So my wish for each board member is to think about, when you think about your New Year's resolution, think about your board New Year's resolution. Kind of like our own board goals, but we all have personal goals. Things reflect on the year past, things you wish you would have done differently, maybe done better, or be proud of the moments that you felt you did great. Carry them into the new year and bring with you in January a renewed resolution. With that, I will, yes?
So for new business, I just want to say January 11th, we're going to do a parent information session.
Oh, yes. That's right, parent.
January
I have one
11th
more
will be
thing
a
to say.
parent information session on the K through 5 report cards. So that information is probably going to come out right when we come back from winter break. I feel like it'll get lost if we send it now.
Mm-hmm.
Look for that.
One other thing I wanted to bring up, it's not really district new business. I mentioned it to Carrie Vendatoli earlier. There was a Broadway play that debuted this week, How to Dance in Ohio. It's the first production that features autistic actors playing autistic roles. So it's sort of groundbreaking in that regard. Carrie and I were doing some research on it today. We hope to support the play and support the endeavor in general and attend the play. So that's just a shout out to those that might be interested. You can Google it, How to Dance in Ohio, Velasco Theater, and it opened this week. Yes. Me too. I actually have it on record as well. Yes.
And the board would like to thank you, Mrs. Lambert, for the whole year of hard work as president. It's not an easy job, and you balance everything appropriately, and we appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Much appreciated. Anybody else have any? Yes?
Two things. Number one, Meg, great job this first as a new board member this year. Definitely learned a lot. And number two, had the great pleasure to attend the Eisenhower winter concert. As always, awesome job by everyone involved. I don't know all the names, but everyone who's involved in that did a wonderful job. And Barcalo's is Thursday night. So
Yes. Yep. So if you can attend, that would be great.
I just want to say, remember, January 2nd, 7 o'clock is reorganization meeting. I proudly served as your president for a full 48 hours.
Yes.
With
Bob will be
none of
president.
with none of the headaches that.
Baby Bob.
Not much can happen between January 1st and January 2nd.
January.
Okay,
So-
I'll be up at 6 a.m.
Yes.
So are you hosting the retreat that morning in your office?
Sure.
Okay, I'll bring the bagels.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go.
just want to thank Meg for her service as well. It's not an easy job. You juggled a million things. I don't know how you did it. I don't think you slept, but thank you.
Yes. And drinks on Meg. No, I'm only kidding. Drinks on me.
That was for
Meg.
close.
This would be now the second opportunity for public participation of any type. If anyone wishes to address the board on any item, please step to the podium, write your name and address on the sign-in sheet, state your name and town for the record. Statements should be limited to 3 minutes in length and not be abusive, obscene, or defamatory in nature. Okay. Quiet down, crowd. Sending us out with a bang, really. Control yourselves. Okay, seeing nobody? I'd like a motion to adjourn. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. All in favor, say aye. Aye.